Honorable nominee, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would you please, in a couple of minutes, tell us who you are? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Okletey Terlabi. I come from Udumasi Krobo. I was born in the year 1963. Went to Accra Primary, Udumasi Presby Middle School, sat for the common entrance and went to Manya Krobo Secondary School, from where I went to Pope John Secondary for the sixth form. I went to University of Ghana, did my first degree, and then to the University of Science and Technology for my master's. And then I followed up with work as a research officer with the Center for Scientific Research to Plant Medicine. Then later on joined the University of Science and Technology as a lecturer till 2011, when I decided to veer into full politics. And that is what has brought me here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, if I have a subject matter rep on my left, would you please start?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, let me take this opportunity to congratulate the nominee, who happens to be my in-law. I think today is a day of in-laws.
Thank you very much.
It was my prayer that Mr. Nominee, having been a deputy minister before, would have been made a substantive minister this time. But it's rather unfortunate. But I still have him in my prayers, and I believe that he will soon be made a substantive minister. Exactly. Mr. Nominee, my first question has to do with the threat facing this country in terms of terrorism. We know that as a country we have one big issue with our borders. Our borders are porous, and we know how these terrorists operate. As a deputy minister nominee, what do you bring to the table to assist your minister in dealing with this issue that has to do with the porous nature of our borders?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for this opportunity. And to say that when the issue of our borders come up, it is one issue that requires serious, it requires some seriousness. Because when you come to West Africa, our borders are very peculiar. The fact is that when you go to the Volta region, there are people who sleep in Ghana but work in Togo. Some of them have their farms across. And I remember I had the opportunity to be part of a program where some of our development partners were recommending some form of restrictions along our borders. And those of us from West Africa said, given our situation, it will be difficult. But as I said, it is very important that for us to really take care of our borders, there must be some serious, collaboration with our brothers and sisters across the borders. And I think that is the only way for now, because it is very expensive. When you look at the recommendations that were given by those development partners, it's very important. It is very, expensive to raise the kind of barrier that they want us to put in place. And in the end, it will not even help us. So I think that we must collaborate with our colleagues across the borders so that we can get intelligence from, their end, so that we prepare against any, attacks, if you put it that way. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up question. I agree with you that it is very expensive to deal with the issues pertaining to our borders, which of course are porous. But here we have a nation to protect. We have a nation to secure. Would you, as a deputy minister, advise your minister, in spite of the expensive nature of securing our borders, to go into securing that which is very important in terms of gadget and all that to secure our borders?
Very much, Mr. Chairman. I think that as a deputy minister, I would have to really listen and work, if I wouldn't say to the dictates of my boss, but then appropriately, when it becomes necessary, I'll prefer whatever advice that I have, depending on the choices that I'm going to make. If my boss believes that deploying those equipments will be a priority, I will support it with what experience I have. If he also believes in the kind of what I recommended earlier on, collaborating and getting intelligence from our colleagues, our brothers and sisters across the borders, that I would also put in what I think would help in bringing that, on board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My second question has to do with the inadequate funding of feeding our prisoners. It is said that every prisoner is fed on 1 cedi 80 pesos a day, which is basically, obviously inadequate. As a deputy minister, what do you bring to the table to assist your minister to deal with this problem?
Thank you, Chair. I listened to my boss, to be, and he said something to the effect that, but for agriculture in the prisons, would have had serious insurrection, because there was no way they were going to get enough food to feed the prisoners. I think that I would, when given the opportunity, help in making sure, as he said, they are establishing prison camps where agriculture, will be practiced for them to produce food and other things to get money and food to support the upkeep of the prisoners. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up question. Mr. Nominee, would you advise your minister to go into commercial farming by prisoners to, as it were, to look at other areas, not just restricting yourself to just farming to feed our prisoners?
Thank you very much. Certainly, I believe that whatever they produce, if you really want to take care of prisoners, and depending on where they find themselves, example, Akusi. If you have a place like Akusi where prisoners go into farming, they can go into rice farming, but I don't think that they can feed on only rice. So to cater for other things, they might have to sell, some of their produce to take care of other things that they will need, for the upkeep of the prisoners. Yes, I will support my minister to do that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my final question, my third and final question. My final question has to do with Ghana Police. A visit to many of our barracks, especially in the bigger towns such as Accra, Kumasi. In the case of Accra, let me use Central Police Station as an example. You go there and you see where our police officers are living. In most cases, you see officers having a lot of their items, i.e. fridge and other things, being kept out or outside their rooms. As a deputy minister, would you, if it so happens, advise your minister to look at redeveloping these strategic places, first of all, to provide more accommodation for our officers, and secondly, decent accommodation for our officers?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am certainly going to support my boss to look for decent accommodation for our officers. And going through their books, there's evidence that they are taking advantage of the fact that they are now sitting on some prime lands. And in collaboration with the private sector, they are getting some infrastructure built outside. And then in exchange for some prime lands, in the city center. And I think that is about time that happens on a larger scale. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think this is I am done. So let me take the opportunity to wish my Akonta well. I wish you well.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think I'll now move to Honorable Reverend Intim Fojo. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Congratulations, Honorable Terlabi, on your nomination as a Deputy Minister for the Interior. You are a fourth-term Member of Parliament, and with a previous experience as Deputy Minister for 6 years, 2 of which is in record as Deputy Minister for Defense. With this background, coming into the office as Deputy Minister for the Interior, what specific reforms would you forcefully suggest to your minister in the quest to improving the sector?
Thank you very much. To be honest with you, looking at Ministry of Defense as against Ministry of Interior, you realize that though they are all supposed to provide security, their area of jurisdiction is different, and therefore whatever tactics or whatever program they deploy may vary a little. But I believe that there are a few things that I think that when we introduce into these other services will help. And I remember 8 years or 12 years ago, I was here for a similar vetting. And I told the panel that I went round the military institutions and their installations. And one thing remarkable that I saw was an inscription that if you fear maintenance, try accident. I think that concept is what drives the military in terms of what they need to, their sustenance, in terms of what they need to protect this country. They will go at all length to make sure that you provide whatever they need with some justification. And I think that that can also happen within the other services, and it will help. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, to the nominee, Alteza Travel is one renowned global tourism organization.
Just a second, Reverend. Is this your second question? Yes. Thank you.
Including many other organizations who have done global rankings, in 2025, they ranked Ghana as the second safest place in Africa. And even globally, they rank Ghana as safer ahead of Australia and Canada. What would you suggest, or what would you do to support your minister to ensure the enviable state of security we have attained rather improves, sustained, and that we do not get into declining state of insecurity?
Well, thank you very much. I think that with that finding, what it means is that we are doing something right. But come to think about it, you realize that there's still room for some improvement. And if I listened to my boss to be, he made some, recommendations in terms of, deploying technology where it is lacking for policing and other, services under the Ministry of Interior, so they can discharge their duties creditably and then bring more, safety, into our country, so we can continue to get the kind of ratings that we are having now. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, to another substantive question. What is the status of Dr. Akufo-Addo, the IGP of this country?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish I could tell you, but I'm a deputy minister to be, and I am even not yet there. I've not even had the opportunity to sit in any meeting, to even, eavesdrop, sort of. But I cannot answer this for now. It is for the president to decide. Thank you.
A follow-up to this. Given the sterling leadership record of the IGP within the period of his tenure and the reforms he has brought to improving the police service, would you advise that in line with maintaining the security sector governance integrity and to promote professionalism, that he is maintained to full term to continue the good work he's doing for Mother Ghana?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, as I said, I wish I had that authority, but I don't have. And the appointing authority may be looking at other things other than what you think is the case. I don't know whether this is a very good platform for me to give you a particular example. Sometimes you think you are doing your best as a football player, but your coach will substitute you. What he sees outside, sitting on the bench, is different from what is happening on the field. What you see on the field. So let us leave it to the president, the appointing authority, to decide. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Honorable Deputy Minister nominee. I wish you Godspeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I will come to my right and take two on if there is a subject matter or any other. But I'll start with a subject matter if there is one. Otherwise, I think
Start with yes.
Yeah, okay, so let's start with the Honorable. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, 2 weeks ago, I had a fire outbreak in my constituency, and to get the NADMO to come to our aid was very difficult. In fact, I was directed to the National NADMO headquarters, and they kept tossing me. At the end, I had to, make ways and means to get relief items to the people. How are you going to support the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, for improving disaster response? Quick response, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said, you require funding for such operations. And I believe that my boss, as he said here, has some very good working relationship with the finance minister, and therefore would always be at his door to get him to support the services under his ministry. And I will do same if he gives me the opportunity to do follow-ups for him. I'm going to do that to get finance to support us. We know we are in difficult times, but will help. A constant reminder would help in prioritizing some of our institutions that are very important when it comes to maintenance of our, peace, security, and safety in this country's concern. Thank you.
Are you done, Honorable?
Last one. Prisons. It's a very big issue. I visited a friend recently, and I think overcrowding is a problem. What are you bringing on board to solve this issue?
Thank you very much. Once again, I will make reference to what my boss said, my boss to be said over here. But then I'm living with one in my constituency. The last time I visited Akuse prisons, I felt very sorry. My friends that I went with, some of them were in tears. Because, it's a place that any of us can be at any time. And therefore, we need to be reminded that they are there. And they also need to, live like us. After all, the essence of keeping them there is to reform them. But if you are reforming somebody and you don't take good care of the person, they come out with, various diseases here and there, skin rashes, whatever. They don't even, when they come out, that is one of the reasons why people will not want to associate with them. So there's this idea of partnering with the private sector to build prisons so that we can rent like it's happening in the US and other places. We don't have to look at that. The other thing too is that some of the prisons in what would be described as prime areas now can be relocated. We get the private sector in exchange for better, bigger places outside where you can get cheaper land. Because I don't think that it is, at all costs, the prisons must be where they are now. No, they can be relocated so that we can make use of that. But I think that one will also require serious, discussions. And we'll look at the cost benefits, how it's going to benefit them before we go into it. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Your last question.
Yes, please. Recently, we heard the president of Burkina Faso came out with the way to use the prisons in farming. Will you want to adopt such how should I use it? Yes, labor, so that we could have them, because I was thinking that the food shortage in our secondary schools, if you can have in the future some farms that we can use them as labor to produce, to help our secondary school children. Do you have any plans of that? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that this is in line with the previous question about whether I will support the prisons going to commercial farming. I think that when you do that, whatever they have can also be given to the secondary schools. Not to say that they cannot be, hired to by the private sector. That can also be done. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to move on to the next subject matter again on the right. Thank you. Honorable, you have the floor.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Chair. Congratulations, Honorable Terlabi.
Thank you.
On your nomination. I've worked closely with you in the committee, and I know your capacity. I know what you are capable of bringing on board. I wish you well in your new ministry. And I just have one question for you. There's a worrying trend that I have observed among security apparatus. The national security on one hand, army, then police. Sometimes it's so embarrassing that you find these security apparatus fighting at the glimpse of the public, those who are supposed to provide security. So embarrassing. So what steps will you take if you find yourself approved to support your boss to be able to...
Honorable, please step away from the mic, to stop the echo. Yeah.
All right. So what steps will you take to support your substantive minister to bring a lasting solution to this menace that I have just narrated? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that, well, it's the security services are human institutions, and sometimes they can go overboard. But then, I believe that there must be that level of respect for each other, and it will come by constant interaction. I don't know whether we still have the CISA sports that we used to have in the years by, where the security services, engage themselves in various sports activities. I don't know whether it is still. Sometimes that can also bring some misunderstanding, which can lead to fight. But sports brings unity, and when we do that, coupled with serious collaboration, they will see themselves as colleagues with the same, objective of securing this country of ours. Thank you.
All right. So thank you. I'm done. Congratulations. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I think I will again return back to the left, and I will call on Honorable Damwa. Take the floor. Thank you.
Honorable, once again, I want to add my voice to congratulate you on your appointment.
Thank you.
I also want to assure you that you're also my in-law. My sister that I followed 3 was married to a Krobo man from Somenya. So I've actually do and Kuima. So you are
thank you very much.
So you are also my contact.
Thank you.
Honorable, I'm also happy that you worked as a Deputy Minister for Defense, and therefore now going to the Interior Ministry, you are going to try as much as possible to bring about cohesion between the Ministry of Defense and Minister of Interior, especially between the military and the police in internal security operations. With all due respect, how would you advise your minister or help your minister to define clearly the military supporting the police in internal security operations so that we won't have frictions and overlaps and the challenges that we normally encounter when we work together, meaning the police and the military work together?
Thank you very much. I think that what we can do, as I said, is some form of collaboration. And each person, especially the military, must understand that when it comes to internal issues, they must be invited to be part of whatever operations that the police is undertaking. If that is understood, we will not have any issues. when it comes to, the extent to which they can take part in internal security issues. I think that's very clear. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, a follow-up question on that. I believe the standard operating procedures are clear, that the police are in charge of internal security and that the military will only come in support of civil authority and order. But we have that challenge. When the normal procedure is there, but then how to assess and know at what critical moment the military should come in and the correct procedure. The moment the police find it challenging, they easily bring in the military. That's where the challenge. And once the military comes in, they think that the police were unable to handle the situation. And based on the training that the military has, and then what the police. So we have that friction, and then it turns out to be something. So that's why I was saying that how to really get the two to know what they know already, work together effectively in a manner that the general population, that whatever we do is to benefit, would really appreciate what we do rather than the friction and the excesses that occasionally we see in their operations.
Thank you very much. I believe that through, as I said, some form of collaboration, we'll get to share intelligence from each side. If the police is aware of what the military, is doing, or what the military knows, and the military, the same vein also knows what the police, operations and whatever their modus operandi, everything is known to the military. When they are invited, they will not be surprised. They would really appreciate and know that they are in to complement, not to take over. And I think that that is the way to go. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my next question. Okay. There's an issue about capacity building in the security institutions under the Ministry of Interior. For example, with the armed forces, taking the army, infantry, the soldiers, and the officers all. We have the basic training. Then within the basic training, we have B3, B2, B1, and then we go for the advanced training. And then with the infantry, they go for section commanders training, platoon sergeants training, weapons training, drill and duty. So at every stage, before you get your next promotion, there's a form of training, capacity building. My relationship with my colleagues in the Ministry of Interior, it appears they don't have well-defined capacity building. Please. So the question itself is coming.
Go ahead.
The question is that he's my acquaintance, so I need to really let him be comfortable. So when you get a note, the police and the other security services, this is an area of concern. What will you do to ensure that they also have similar arrangements by way of capacity building?
Thank you very much. I think that this is one of my experiences that I'm going to, take to the Ministry of Interior. As I do my work as a deputy minister, when the need arises for me to prefer some of these, programs to my boss, I will do that. Given what, I experience, with the military, I would prefer those, experiences to him. And if he finds them necessary, we take them on board with my support. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my final question. Earlier on, Honorable, you talked about the fact that people in the eastern part of Ghana, Volta region, people who live in Ghana and go and work in Togo. We have similar situation along the western frontier. I come from a border town. Kwame Sekrom is right on the border between Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, my parents, my father, for instance, had farms in La Côte d'Ivoire. So most of the farms, we go there and make our farms, bring food stuff, and even in some cases, we have cash crops. Currently, we have a challenge there. The Ivorians have beefed up their security along the western frontier, especially in my constituency. I know from Doma up to my area, up to German North. And previously, our people would go to La Côte d'Ivoire to farm and bring their farm products without any challenges. But the last time that I went, and just even today, when you go and you are coming back, they restrict the food items. For instance, if it is a plantain, they determine what they think is not commercial, because they think that if you bring bigger quantities, the normal basket, the kind that they carry, they now tell them to be commercial. And they are refusing to allow people to bring the cassava, plantain, yams, maize, which previously there were no restrictions on the quantities. After cashew now is a no-go area, even though people farm cashew plantations in La Côte d'Ivoire because they are Ghanaians owning the land. They know we are the same people, it's just the frontier that divided. So now it's something of concern, and I may wish that you carry this to your minister if you get the note, so that some urgent measures or engagements with our Ivorian counterparts will take place, so that our farmers resident in Ghana but farming in La Côte d'Ivoire, who are being harassed by the Ivorian security personnel, they will understand that probably because we had been living together in the past and working at the same people, with the same culture, with relatives across, they will allow them to come to Ghana with the quantities that they were previously bringing without any hindrances.
Honorable, I think your question can be shortened.
Thank you. I will do so. Thank you.
No, the last one.
Oh, you still have a last one?
No, the other ones were follow-up questions.
All right, so this is your last question.
This is my last question.
All right,
it will be short.
please make it short.
Honorable, the other one has to do with manpower levels, the strength of the various security services under your ministry. I know they have challenges. Any plans to help bring up their levels to appreciable levels so that they can deal with the challenges that confront them? It's for all of them.
Thank you very much. I think that we all know, Mr. Chairman, that as a policy of government, all government across, you require some clearance before you employ. And therefore, we will talk to, well, my boss to be says something similar to the effect that he will make sure he gets the Minister of Finance to understand the situation we find ourselves, especially that we want to expand and increase productivity. I don't want to go into 24-hour economy, but we would require security, and therefore people would have to feel safe in the night, and we need to increase, manpower insofar as our security is concerned. So we'd have to bring all that, on board. Let all of us understand, and I believe that I will support my boss to make serious inputs into, going forward, budgetary allocations and whatever, so that we can get money to pay them. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to congratulate my acquaintance in advance. I'm sure he will do very well in his next appointment. Congratulations once more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Omar, it's your turn. And please, let's make our questions straight to the point and leave the preambles, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm grateful. Honorable Parl. Mr. Nominee and my good friend, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding the proliferation of small arms. And my question is regarding whether you will have the minister to change the regime, the licensing regime of the small arms. Believe me, whatever we do, we say that if you don't have a license, you can't carry a gun, but the guns we have in the system is amazing. I've just returned from my constituency where some conflict broke out. And I would like you to help your minister, support him, to come out with, change the laws about licensing, either to upgrade it, but not to just say that you won't give out licenses. And also try to decentralize the licensing so that people within far places like Zabzugu district will not need to travel to Tamale, which is the regional capital, to get licenses or pay for their annual subscription. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Rightly so, I am going to support my boss in whichever way to help in taking care of these small arms that we have in the system. Thank you very much.
I'll have another one. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. The second question is about barriers by immigration, by customs, and by police. When you start the journey from Taltele to Tamale, or you are traveling on Parl Road, you have immigration officers stopping every vehicle or motorbikes, and sometimes the salami. I don't want to tell you the details. I want you to assist your minister to at least tell immigration and other officers what their purpose is. They are not supposed to be doing vehicle or motorbike searching, but they do. And they also several things. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe that our security services do their operations based on intelligence. But that is not to say that some of them do not, I mean, sometimes they don't go wayward. But we would examine the situation and advise appropriately. But as you said, it is true. Sometimes when you come to Parliament and you sit throughout the night till about, let's say, 11, 12, I live in Odumasi Krobo, and I drive along the mountains through Somanya to my place. You go through tough traffic from 37 through airport to Medina. When you get out of Adenta, just when you think you have some relief, there's another traffic. This time around, it is not as a result of the number of vehicles, but police have mounted barriers, one at Oyarifa, another one at Oibi. When you climb them, you get to Obusman, there's another one. When you get to Latte Junction, there's another one. Sometimes it can be frustrating. But then they come out based on the kind of intelligence that they have. So we would look at all that and advise appropriately. Thank you very much.
I wish you well.
Thank you. Honorable Patrick Bwama, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations, former ranking Environment Committee member. My first question is on naturalization. Naturalization. And if you look at the website of your ministry, it has the photograph of your minister, the president and vice president, your acting chief director. But let me read this to you, Chairman, with your kind permission. Subject to subsection 2 of 14 of the Citizenship Act of Ghana 2000, a person qualifies for naturalization if, it's very important, I want Roxanne to listen, he has resided in Ghana throughout the period of 12 months immediately preceding the date of the application. B, during the 7 years immediately preceding the period of 12 months, he has resided in Ghana for periods amounting in the aggregate to not less than 5 years. He is of good character as attested in writing by 2 Ghanaians, being notary public lawyers or senior public servant. He has not been sentenced to any period of imprisonment in Ghana. He is able to speak and understand an indigenous Ghanaian language, Roxanne. He is a person who has made or who is capable of making a substantial contribution to the progress or advancement in any area of national activity. He is a person who has been assimilated into the Ghanaian way of life or who can easily be so assimilated. He intends to reside permanently in Ghana in the event of a certificate being granted him. He possessed a valid resident permit on the date of his application. Time frame for the application, 6 months. Fees and charges, Form 5, 7,758 Ghana cedis. A lot of applications will be coming to you. Without scrutiny, a lot of people will get naturalized as Ghanaians. And sometimes we overlook some of these qualifications because of the IGF involved. Very important. By so doing, you would have opened the country up for insecurity. What will you be doing to assist your minister to ensure that any applicant who brings any application for naturalization satisfies these requirements to ensure that the sanctity or the security of this country is protected? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that if my minister decides to get me involved, you have just given us a checklist. I can assure you that I am going to be very meticulous when it comes to looking at such requirements. And where I need to seek legal advice, I will, to support, in taking very good decisions about who becomes a citizen of this country. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a very important area because lawyers like Dafia Mekwe and Co will be bringing attestations, and you have to be very careful. My second question is on the health facilities of the institutions under the Ministry of Interior. I think I only know of the police hospital. I don't know of any hospital owned by the prisons, the immigration, I stand to be corrected. I think with their numbers, we need serious health facilities to support their activities because of the operations they undertake. What are some of the strategies you'll be proffering to your boss so that if in the event that this house approves of you, you...
Thank you very much. I think that it came up, this issue, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This issue came up, during my boss's interview, and he made it clear that apart from police hospital, prisons and fire do not have health facilities. And I believe that I will keep, him on his toes, remind him as and when the opportunity comes. We'll make sure that whoever is supposed to provide us with the funds to get those things, health facilities established, will do so. Because of the lack of, health facilities in these prisons, they have to resort to taking prisoners to some hospitals, and sometimes they are unable to even pay their bills. Aside that, here they don't even have vehicles to carry the prisoners to these hospitals. So the prison officers themselves would have to hire taxis and things like that. In fact, there's a lot that we have to do for the prison service, and I think that putting our shoulders to the wheel and with the support in terms of our employer, who's the president, we'll be able to improve the lot of the prison service and the other services. Thank you.
Chairman, my last question is on private security companies, their licensing, their registration, licensing, and also the licensing of bullion vans, weapons and bullets, gunpowder, and what have you, are some of the things that I believe, with your experience, having been at the Ministry of Defense before, you have to support your minister in ensuring that some of these licenses are given to responsible people to operate. And you being a chemist or something like biochemist, I know, a former parliamentary candidate for Ukraine in Kumasi. We know you. Yeah. You don't have state-of-the-art forensic laboratories for these institutions, and I think with your background, you need to encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to do my best to get some of these things to support my boss in the ministry. In fact, he was the MPP chairman when I was the candidate. We belong to the same club. And then we came here, we found ourselves on the same committee. So that is the chemistry. Thank you.
And you did a lot together on that committee.
Very well. To help Mother Ghana.
Very well.
Thank you.
I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. Honorable Shaibu, it's your turn to take the floor.
Chairman, let me thank you so much for the opportunity. Sir, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I know you've answered questions in many areas, including accommodation, but I want you to just take you back to that, because that's very critical for the police service. I note that the numbers have increased. If you go to most of the district capitals, you will find so many police personnel. So the first thing is, if your arrangements will permit, would you suggest to your minister to redeploy them, not just in the district capital, but to the other bigger towns and communities within the district? That's a starting point. If you tie that to the second bit, that still has to do with accommodation. Most of the new districts, including mine, created about some 12 years ago, still don't have housing facility for the headquarters of the police service itself, let alone accommodation for the many personnel that have been posted there. As a result, you will find police personnel, virtually like tenants in the community. I know familiarity sometimes breeds contempt. And so once they are with the community people and law enforcement become compromised, I would want to suggest if you take that on board as you support your minister, to look at first the redeployment of the police personnel, if your arrangement will permit, to the other bigger communities within the, given that you make adequate accommodation facility for them. That's my first bit that I want to. So the second one has to do with the military barracks. So if you move away from the barracks, you now have training centers. I know there are a few of them dotted across the country. My constituency and district is proud to be hosting one of your barracks. That's in Daboya. I think that it's been expanded. The previous administration tried to do some expansion of that, but it still falls short of the basic requirements and facilities that you really need to do proper training. Would you consider, upgrading and putting military and security training has become technical now, not the physical we knew many years ago. That's a suggestion I want to put across to you, if you would consider suggesting to your minister and how you carry that across.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, did you say military? I think the defense minister was here to answer a lot of questions on that. If I veer into that, were you on the police yesterday? Yes. I think that yes, indeed, there are modern ways of policing, and it requires the deployment of technology. I was reading a text just a few hours before I came in, and there's this suggestion that brick and mortar police training, grounds or schools, can be changed. Because the world is evolving, security is evolving, everything is evolving, and we need to move with time. Where technology, AI, a lot of things are being deployed now. So I think that the bottom line, as I said, is your ability to pay for some of these things because they are expensive. So in the meantime, we'll get them on our books, as and when we have what it takes, we can go for, such facilities to enhance training of our personnel. Thank you.
On that note, I wouldn't ask questions about your capability. I know you've done it before, and I wish you all the best in your next journey.
Thank you very much.
I will now invite the Chief Whip to come in.
Chairman, thank you very much. Let me, my brother, you're welcome. And congratulations.
Thank you.
When I entered this house in January 2017, you were one of the seniors who tutored me in the ways of the house. And so I'm happy seeing you where you sit.
Thank you very much.
And I have no doubt that you will succeed. Now, I have two concerns, and I believe you share one. Between a Shaman roundabout and a Skuma in the Sojaman district, a distance of 85 kilometers, we have over 15 police military barriers. And so anytime I'm traveling to my constituency, I go through these police barriers and military checkpoints. Even me, as a member of parliament, it's a drudgery. So you can see the difficulties this poses for our average Ghanaian. Sometimes we have to fight practically with the security men, because before you enter, you go onto that Domi bridge, there's a police, military, and now immigration barrier. You go off the barrier. You negotiate around the hill towards Mami Watakope. Before the Boss Farm tanks, you have two barriers actually. Now there's even a notice of a national security barrier. Before you enter Juapong, there are two barriers, military and police. You exit Juapong, there's a police barrier. You get to Nudu, Abuasa, you have police barriers. Apegusu, you have Frankedia. And then the outskirts of Eskuma, you have two barriers actually. You get to Eskuma, you have a GRA barrier and a customs barrier. Now, I haven't mentioned the Afienya Shai Hills ones through Pong. So, what will you do as the deputy to the Honorable Muntaka that these barriers are removed? It appears that those of us from the eastern frontier, we are profiled. We are so profiled that when you are exiting, you are checked. When you are going, you are checked. You are crossing the border. Yes, in Askuma, when you get to Askuma, it's as if you are entering another republic. The immigration officers, what they take our people through is unacceptable. So my question is, will you consider removing these barriers so my constituents in Peki, Kpalik, Peve, Tongo, and Sanga can move freely within the frontiers of the Republic of Ghana?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think I just, narrated my experience on the Akuapem Mountains and the number of barriers. I think that we need to assess the situation. Let me give you my personal experience. The reason sometimes I think that we need to be very careful when we are dealing with some of these barriers. 2013, I came to Parliament. We closed around 1 a.m. On my way back, the police, I think I saw about 3 barriers. The first one, I avoided them. The next one, my instinct told me stop, and I did. Little did I know that there were armed robbers, if you know Obusumasi. The police who stopped me did not even know that they have laid siege there. But then the 5 or 10 minutes that I spent with them, some vehicle came and they repaired. Yes, that's right. So sometimes we need to assess the situation. I am not saying that some of them are not wayward. Some of them just mount the barrier to extort. But I believe that my recommendation with that to my boss will be that let's get the police command to do a proper assessment of the areas. And where we think that they have to remove the barrier, we have to. Because if we go out there to just remove the barriers, it will also serve as another problem for us, because people will feed on it. The criminals are always around. And I believe that their presence sometimes also wards off. In spite of, apart from what they do to, road users, their presence gives us some confidence as we drive in the night, especially those of us who drive in the night. So I think we need to really do proper assessment before we get them out of the road. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, my final concern. My constituency, South Dine, we've produced a lot of national figures in the security services. I can give a tall list of them. But training institutions for these security services are being built in a lot of places. Will you consider building one in my constituency in South Dine?
Thank you, Chair. We had the first Ghanaian police, yes, from my constituency. So if we have to start, we have to start from Odumasi Krobo. If that's the consideration, that is on a lighter side. But I think that we need to look at we need to look at your request case by case, and depending on the availability of funds to build. And I just said something to the effect that because of technology, you may not need to establish brick and tile, before you can train the police in an area or the security in an area. So that will also be considered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Once more, congratulations.
Thank you, my brother.
But Chairman, let me use the opportunity to clarify this matter. That my brother, Mahama Shaibu, his heart created a lot of problems. It was not intentional. Yes. Chairman, so they should take note. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Honorable Patricia, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Honorable nominee, congratulations
thank
on your
you,
nomination. You and I go a very far. And I was wondering whether I didn't serve on the forestry, Lands and Forestry Committee with you.
But it's one committee that I never served.
Yes, I wasn't too sure about that. But Honorable, let's go to your CV. Your CV, page 2. Is it page 2 of your CV? Honorable, I observed that within a period of about 5 years, you held about 4 different portfolios. What was the cause for that? Between the year 2011 to 2015, we heard about 4 different portfolios. And in all, You were serving in the capacity of a deputy minister.
Yes.
You are still the deputy minister. What was the reason for those changes? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm a sportsman and a footballer. And I remember there was a time I told my coach that I should change my position. Then he told me, "There, you know why I always keep you as the number 3? When you are there, I am confident that the 9 will always score. The number 9 will always score. I am sure when I'm there, the minister will perform." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Another observation on your CV, that's page number 3. Your service to your community. I don't know whether it's a continuous service or you served at a period.
In fact, I need to update that CV.
Should I seek the leave of the chair to include the period?
Yes.
So for record purposes.
But I can't get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, just do that.
And I think on this page 4.2, the same thing on item, I don't know, Vice Chairman, NDC, or overcrowding. Are you still the Vice Chairman? You were. Yes.
I was.
So it's important that
Yes.
you serve us with it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, you are seeking your leave?
Yeah, leave them.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Terlabi, I don't have any doubt at all that you can perform creditably.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
At the assigned position that you've been given. But everybody, I make everybody aware that there is an affirmative action act that is in place now. And it's not just going to be placed on the table, and we need action on that. And no recruitment into the police service, fire service, and all that. You've done very well in recruiting so many women, but you have still not achieved the required percentage of 30%. So how are you going to assist your minister to ensure that, because this one is a compelling one, it's not something that you can postpone to another day? So may I know?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the military, some few years ago, undertook a program to encourage the youth to demystify what they do at their various camps. And per the assessment after, having open days and whatever, a lot of women got interested in becoming Navy, military, police, whatever. I think that I would, advise same for the Ghana police, the other security services, to have an open day, a day to interact with, especially the communities where they have their training institutions. Interact with the communities, get them encouraged, and let them understand that whoever is in uniform is a civilian, and they can be, like them. I think this is a way, to get our women, to get interest in some of these services. Because at the end of the day, it's a choice that you have to make. And sometimes what they hear and what they see from afar influences their decision. But when they get close, they realize that after all, it's an area that I can also, be part, so they can get involved. So, Mr. Chair, I think that this is my suggestion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. I don't think I totally agree with you. I partially agree with you that we need to create the awareness, we need to educate. But there's a bit of the sector also making the effort to ensure that you attain the figure 30% as an initial need. So it is you as a deputy minister and your minister who are responsible to ensure that. But, you know, there are so many people who apply for these positions, especially with the recruits and all that, but yet only few take it. That's exactly what I demand of you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, when it comes to recruitment, beyond showing interest, you must qualify. Not in terms of academics, but then physically, you must qualify. Yes, you go to a lot, because sometimes a lot of people are, brought on board, but along the line, they fail basic medical tests, not the making of, which is not the making of the recruiting authority. So, yes, we want to encourage them. We must also make sure they take good care of themselves, so that during the process, they are not found wanting in terms of their health, so that they can easily be taken on board. Thank you.
Are you not just stereotyping and showing traces of biases in this respect? Thank you.
No. It's the case. It is the reality. It is the reality. Yeah, yes. In fact, I was part of, the committee that shepherded this bill, and you know the role I played. And I would not, let it, just lie on any. We'll make sure we bring it on board. And as I said, much as we would want to meet the levels that we set for ourselves, whoever is recruited must also be able to stand the test of time. Otherwise, you go and, the consequences are dire. If you have a certain medical condition and they put you to go and swim, and you go and don't come back, that's another thing. So that's the reason why they are very careful when it comes to the medicals. Thank you very much.
Honorable Adi, follow up.
All right, thank you. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
I just want to make a follow-up on my sister's question on the 30%. We are all fully aware that you are the minister, and it's a policy, and we have the law now backing it. It's not an issue of medical or non-medical, because we have the women there, we have the girls there. How do you get the men being able to get the percentages that you want, but you cannot get the women? So I want to ask, will you continue hammering and reminding the minister that you have a responsibility at hand, and that the law says that you must get 30%, and that we need that 30%? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, yes, I will.
You may continue.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nominee, in my constituency, the police in the district and in the division have been complaining of lack of vehicles to perform their duties creditably. As an assembly, we were able to allocate them with some. I personally had to give them motorbikes to also do their work. But I don't know, how are you going to support your minister to ensure that for the police to operate creditably or be able to perform their duties to the satisfaction of the citizens, these vehicles must be available to them to work? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, you see these documents before me here. These are briefings from all the units under our ministry. And it cuts across. All of them have problem with vehicles, one equipment or the other. I think that, as my boss said, we would have to really talk to the finance minister with the support of the president. And I believe that we'll be able to get necessary financing to get these equipment that are needed for them to discharge their duties creditably. Thank you very much.
And finally, Honorable, women and children are often the victims of human trafficking. And as a deputy minister, I know you are not developing the policies. The laws are there, the right policies are there. How will you ensure the strengthening of the anti-human trafficking laws and ensure better victim support service for them? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As you rightly said, I'm the deputy. If I'm given the opportunity to manage that, I'll make sure that I sit with the various institutions that are involved and make sure that we work towards achieving a reduction, if not eliminating, child trafficking in this country of us. Thank you very much.
Right, as a follow-up, if you are not given that opportunity, what happens? Does it mean the area should be left unattended?
Certainly, if I'm not giving, somebody else will be giving that.
Pardon?
If I am not giving, somebody else will be giving that duty. And as and when I get opportunity, I can also, advise or prefer, any solutions to whatever the person may be working on.
Honorable nominee, so far as I'm concerned, you are the only deputy available to support the minister. There's no other deputy. I don't think I prefer to hear that if you're not given the opportunity. There should be a way to communicate with your minister to get things done. That's what I expect from you.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I will play my part when it comes to the issue about child trafficking, to make sure that we reduce that business in our society. Thank you very much.
I'm done, Mr. Chair. Congratulations in advance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jerry, you will be next. And then after that, I will wrap it up. So you are basically standing between us and the next nominee. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, congratulations to you.
Thank you, my brother.
I see that you are a married man, but I am not sure your wife is here to support you.
No.
Do you have any reasons why? Honorable nominee, are you stingy?
What do you understand by being stingy?
As in somebody.
Honorable,
Very
you
well.
are out of order. Can you please withdraw that word? It's unparliamentary.
Very well, very well, very well. Most guided, Mr. Chair. Honorable nominee, in 2019, there was an issue in your constituency that had to do with prepaid meters. I think you should be calm. Let me finish with my question. That had to do with prepaid meters. And you promised your constituents that you were going to ensure that the prepaid meters would not be used when you are voted for. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Are prepaid meters used in your constituency?
Yes.
Was there a shooting incident when the ECG officers decided to come and install prepaid meters in your constituency?
Yes, there was.
And what role did you play? You were the member of parliament. So I'm asking, what role did you play? Did you in any way or form say to your people you would find a way of resolving the matter for them not to use prepaid meters subsequently?
Thank you very much. I don't know if we would have enough time to explain this, but whatever happened in my constituency must be very well understood.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Honorable nominee.
Yeah.
Let me just give the floor to Honorable Chief Whip.
Chairman, thank you very much. Chairman, this matter came to Parliament, and Parliament gave some directives. An ad hoc committee was constituted to go to the constituency to inquire into the matter and brought a report. Subsequently, some directives were given, and the ECG proceeded on that directive. I recall the honorable member returned to the House in a follow-up question directed at the minister and complained that some directives given by Parliament were not being implemented. There were follow-up steps taken by the ministry to ameliorate the situation. So if the honorable member may be guided in shaping his question, and I believe it can be properly situated, because it was a matter that engaged Parliament and Parliament stepped in.
Well, thank you for the guidance, but I'm sure you could have said the same thing. I do not think that I was asking the question out of any mischief. It's just for him to clear, because I've had questions from some of your constituents asking me. So that's the basis for the question. What's the scientific name for prekese?
Thank you. Tetraptera tetrapura.
Pardon me?
Tetraptera tetrapura.
So, what as a biochemist, what are the benefits of prekese?
Thank you very much. I'm sure, serious. In fact, it is a fruit that I worked on extensively as a researcher. It has a lot of active principles, medicinal, that, depending on your situation, can be good for your health, for hypertension, for other, ailments. The others, including
Honorable nominee.
Hello.
That's not what you are being vetted on today. So if you can just make it short so we can make progress.
Honorable Chair, I just respectfully need to remind Honorable Chair that I am doing this as the ranking at this point. And I have, to some extent, unlimited access to getting information and knowledge. And this is a very relevant question. In fact, I was going to link it to some other matters, and that is the more reason why I asked. So please, with all due deference.
Thank you. What I'm saying is that it is good for hypertension, and it has other, food is attractive sometimes based on color and the flavor. So precursor also gives flavor to food.
Is it, so up until today, I didn't even know it is a fruit. So I expect that, no. I thought I heard you earlier saying that it is a fruit. Yes, and I'm saying I did not know. So now I want to find out, as Deputy Minister, is it one of the recommendations you make to your minister that police officers, fire officers, immigration officers?
Honorable Leader, you are out of order.
I do not respectfully know why you are doing this, because this is coming from a very good side. That if it is something that is a food that has medicinal value, is it something you would want to propose to the security services to adopt? Because he's a Deputy Minister of Interior. And so, first of all, my interest would be to your office. Would you want to propose that to your minister, that it is okay for security officers or security agencies to? It's yes or no, really?
Thank you very much. Certainly, the security services have physicians, medical officers, and whatever that advise them. So depending on the advice, you may, take some of these things as food supplements. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm happy you emphasized on that. At least Chairman heard that it can be used as food supplements. And have you heard of Abofraboni? Do you know of the juvenile?
Yes.
So you know where it is situated? The one at Ridge. Do you, in your contemplation, still think that it's a better place to still have a prison?
Talking about location or the fact that we have juvenile homes?
I'm talking about the location.
The location. In fact, that the security services, some of them, are seated on prime lands. And they don't necessarily have to be in the heart of the city. And the fact that they lack certain facilities and we don't have enough money to build for them now, we can, in exchange for better facilities outside Accra, we can give that land to the private sector so they develop, facilities on cheaper lands for them. So,
you are older than your minister. Are you going to provide him with the necessary support and not think that because you are older, he cannot respectfully give you instructions when he has to?
Age is a number. And Honorable Mutaka and my good self have worked together for a number of years, even before we met in Parliament. So there is that mutual respect between the two of us.
I want to find out, do you also have plans of supporting the minister with reference to insurance for police officers, insurance for immigration officers, insurance for fire officers, prison officers, all the security agencies?
If I get the opportunity, I'll suggest. If my boss brings that up too, I'll join in the discussion to see how far we can get that to the police service. Thank you.
But the moment you are given approval by this House, that is an opportunity. Is there an assurance you take it up?
Yes.
Do you also think?
Chairman, thank you very much. Honorable nominee, you are aware that we have enactments setting up the police service, the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana Prison Service, the Ghana Fire Service, the Ghana Immigration Service, as well as other agencies under your ministry. Now, in respect of insurance policy for the personnel, if the statute does not permit that, you cannot introduce it by policy. You agree?
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
And therefore, if you want to consider that, you may have to come by amendments to the existing legislations.
Rightly so, Mr. Chairman.
I thank you.
You may go ahead, Honorable.
Do you know or not whether security officers or those under the Ministry of Interior have anything with reference to risk allowances?
I don't know.
Would you want to find out, and if it is not there, that would be one of the suggestions you make to the Honorable Minister? Because as you are aware, for instance, fire service, they go trying to quench fire, as in the police service. So I know some of the operatives in the Greater Accra office, they do all manner of night duties and dawn duties, and people are even shot and all of that. So if they do not have any risk allowance, how are they protected? What is the excitement in even going out to go and do their jobs? So is that something you would want to consider and share with the Honorable Minister?
Certainly, I will.
There is also another aspect of conflict resolution, where people have gone to, in fact, what I mean by people is the security agencies, maybe the police. They've been sent to say Boku to help resolve a conflict, but some of the reports we had are indicative of some allegations, including women being harassed, including shops being closed and asking the women to bring food. How are you going to advise your Honorable Minister to deal with some of these issues?
What I know is that when the security is deployed to such areas, they are supposed to go and provide security for the people. As to asking for food and other things, I don't know, because my experience is that before they are deployed, they are giving ration. They are giving what it takes to keep them, there. So going for food, in fact, I've not, well, if I get to the ministry, we'll find out. And if there's a need for us to investigate, we'll do that.
Do you have an idea how much a prisoner feeds a day?
When I listened to my boss when he was interviewed, he said 1 cedi, 80 pesos, and he thought it was woefully inadequate.
So you are going to recommend that it should be 10 cedis or 15 cedis?
No.
Going to recommend an increment to your boss?
Certainly, once you recognize that it is not adequate, means there must be some improvement. So, but that will depend on my boss.
Have you considered using other people in cells for labor rather than just those in prisons? Is there something you would want to consider and perhaps recommend?
Cells.
So we have had people in cells for more than 2 days, for more than 40 days, for more than, in some instances.
I think that, I don't know whether you are referring to remand prisons or, because the remand prisoners have not been convicted. You are not even sure of their status when it comes to, the prisons. But where they are convicted and they are sentenced, yes. If they are, yes, they can be deployed to do other things.
Honorable Chief.
Let me come in. Mr. Nominee, you are aware that merely being in cells does not make you a prisoner. You are aware. Because we have all been in cells before, even as MPs.
Which, sir?
When we were resisting the system, we were at Cantabac. Okay. Yes, it's a cell. It's a form of a cell. Your movement has been limited. Now, so you are not a prisoner. Now, even where you are a prisoner, you can only be deployed to undertake certain works on behalf of the state under certain conditions. You are aware? Yes. So if you are going to roll out a policy, a wholesome policy to cover all prisoners to be deployed into some form of work on behalf of the state, it means you must come back to Parliament with an amendment to the law establishing the Ghana Prison Service.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think that the idea is to just go into wholesale deployment of prison officers, no, prisoners. As we speak, the prison service is building work camps, and these are the camps are going to be inhabited by the prisoners, and the activities, they're purely agriculture. They give them land as prisoners, they work on the land, they produce. And as I indicated earlier, when they produce in excess, they will sell, to people outside the prison confines. They feed themselves with some. So I don't think that we are going to just go out there and get all prisoners, irrespective of whatever crime you are, be convicted of. No. They have a way of assessing them and deploy them.
Okay, relatedly, there's a new program reported in Burkina Faso where prisoners are deployed on state farms, and when they perform creditably, their prison terms are reviewed downwards. Would you consider introducing such a policy?
That wouldn't be a bad, policy.
I thank you. I thank you.
Yeah, please continue.
Honorable nominee, are you aware of the terminology ghettos?
No, Mr. Chairman. Is it an English word?
So it's a terminology used for young men and women who have converged at a particular place that they normally have some sort of fun, including drinking and smoking. You have not heard of this before?
Okay. Yes, I'm aware of young men living in cells and having fun, as you said.
So are you aware this is becoming pronounced?
I'm yet to look at the extent, but I know they exist. But I believe that there's some work, some data can be built on that. Thank you.
So these are young men who sometimes have no work to do, and the perception or the allegation is that they normally get involved in all manner of crimes. And this is when they are done engaging in a particular crime, that is more of a hideout. And I just want to find out from you, as the Deputy Minister of Interior, if at all you may have plans of getting most of these people transitioned into real employment and something better than where they find themselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you've answered the question. You said they are jobless. Once we get them the opportunity to grab some jobs, I'm sure some of them will abandon, those places and get themselves, thank you.
Honorable nominee, in the context of national security, how do you hope to address concerns about political influence over key security positions?
Can you clarify which of the positions? Because when you take the Constitution, if it is appointment, the police, we have those that are appointed by the president, those that are appointed by the police council, and then the management itself. So whichever.
So in recent times, I saw a correspondence or a publication appointing one Mr. Jakpa as a national director of operations, national security. So it's at the back of this, I'm asking this particular question.
So what is your question?
So let me ask the question again. In the context of national security, how do you address concerns about political influence over key security positions that may or that might affect the integrity of law enforcement and intelligence gathering?
Chairman, if I understand his question, political influence in key appointments, is that what? National security. But national security doesn't fall under Ministry of Interior. I think they have a ministry of their own. And it's under the office of the president. It's under the office of the president now. So whoever is appointed, and the Constitution gives the president the authority, the power to appoint.
I'm sure you are aware of the Gaming Commission. How is your ministry going to liaise with the Gaming Commission to, as it were, ensure that those who are operating some games are doing that within the laws, within the confines of the laws?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know about the Gaming Commission, but I'm not too conversant. But when I get to the ministry, given opportunity, I will look at the operations, and I'm sure we have, professionals within the ministry that have some experience dealing with this commission, and based on whatever advice they will give or whatever they will tell us about their problems with Gaming Commission, we would look at it and advise accordingly. Thank you.
Mr. Nominee, I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jerry. Mr. Nominee.
Mr. Chairman.
V-mate.
Sharp.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to draw your attention to your tax clearance certificate that I have here. In 2024, there is a 47,056.66, which is a credit and a debit. It doesn't look right. Okay. So I don't know if you've, it's caught your attention.
Mr. Chairman, what I sought to do was to send a request. They brought this. I have not really looked at it. And thank you very much for drawing my attention, because I don't have that professional eye, when it comes to taxes.
Take a look at it, and I grant you, the leave to get it corrected if they need be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And, now I want to go to the loved ones who came to support you, and and just acknowledge them. John Mate, who is a lower Menya constituency chairman. Nene Agbe Na the fourth. Ne, okay. Nene, all right. Nene Agbe Na the fourth. JPM divisional chief. I hope I got that one right. Okay. So Nene Lano Dom Memilisi Asafwachi. And Otiemi Sika. Ochiami Sika Saki. Saki the third. Linguist to the Parliamentary. And then Maya. Manye, Maya, the second, the divisional queen mother. Yeah, Dom, divisional queen mother. And Manya again. Manya Koleki, deputy Maramount queen mother. And Sheikh Mukhtar Abdul, Pong chief imam. And Reverend and Mrs. Tete, Agbomenya, Church of Pentecost district pastor. And WO1 retired William Asum Kole, nominees, family head. Then I have the daughters of nominees here, Joy, Padiki, Terlabi, not Padiki, no, Grace, Padiko, Terlabi, and Hannah, Male Terlabi. Yes, these are the names I have here. Thank you very much for coming to support the nominee. Nominee, On this occasion, I would like to say that you have been discharged by the committee, and you hear from the committee. You are discharged.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.